at the start of Nancy's school. So Nancy's had a very stop-start type of education. So when she was in primary school, we didn't really know what to do in terms of to support Nancy. So she would have one teacher that would learn sign, and then another, and then it would go back to square one and square one. So we had this for about 3 years. So is it about like teachers having a better understanding, better idea? Yeah, I think because we talked about that with the school, about the whole school becoming an all communication inclusive school, which was having like signs, you know, and there's a lot of kids that do use sign along, don't they, that are on the spectrum as well. So Nancy's not the only one who will use and utilize signs or symbols. So that has to be, I think, through the school, and they've put it through the school now, but that's kind of taken us fighting 3 years to get that done. So it should be accessibility in places, isn't there? And for things to be easy to get to, Nancy was talking about as well. We were talking about this as well, about seeing people on the TV. Children especially, there's just not enough representation, and I think it's getting there, but it's slow. Where we've seen, like advertisements and stuff for clothes shops and things. I think H&M, was it H&M? There were certainly a few recently that were using kids with a walker or with something else. But every time Nancy sees that, she's like, oh, do you know? It's like it's excitement and going, oh look, or there's, and that shouldn't be the case, So that representation.
I would like to see communities coming more together. And I would like to see disabled people all being able to have their own support, but live in and enjoy the company of living in. I think there needs to be more funding put into campaigning groups that help people to have a voice. And I think also there needs to be more consultation with disabled people about what sort of things they want. If they want amenity houses, what should these houses look like? I think we should be involved from the grassroots planning all the way up. We need to have more consultations with disabled people about what amenity houses should look like. And we should be able to meet with the developers about where these houses need to be built. And also that projects are better funded or are given more government funds to help disabled people have a voice.
Yeah, it's about helping people to have a voice, making sure that voice is heard.
My wish would be people need to learn.
So you would want more people to be supported with adult education and better support in schools, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you'd have encouraged me to read, but it didn't. I don't like the way that people have been getting treated. I think they should try, even if they don't want to. I think they should try, because it's given me a lot of courage to do this. They should be helping people to get a wee job, even if it's a couple of days working in the library, or, feel that they've got something to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think people sometimes forget, I think lots of people in us around forget how important it is to feel that you're achieving something, that you've done something, and that you can achieve things.
Yeah. You should be saying to a new person, come on, let's try this and see if it's going to work out. If not, we'll try something else. I think you should put a package together for people to read, and if they do, they can come to me for advice.
One of the things during all these sessions I've really learned about is I think how important it is to listen to people, and using whatever tools that is to listen. I mean, I've been using in conversations and chats with people, so it's been verbal and via video, but we can use other tools to listen to people, like talking mats, as Lynn mentions, or whatever way that somebody communicates. If we can really listen to people, try and understand where people are coming from, what their experiences are, that will help us to understand anyone who's experiencing discrimination and whatever. I think that doesn't just apply to the people who receive services or support from the action group. That also applies to us and to our colleagues as well. Many people within the action group would consider themselves to be disabled people or to have had experiences of discrimination. And I think if we can listen to all people, that would be much better. And if we can get better at that, having conversations, being open about it, being able to be open, so we can build people's self-esteem and build a confidence. I also became aware, I think talking to people, and they were talking about their experience often at school, their experience of being younger, and people were talking about having been bullied, having had difficult times in school, having their self-esteem damaged. And I was reflecting and I was thinking about my own experiences as a kid. Before I knew I had dyspraxia, not being able to write with an ink pen, and being sent down a class because I couldn't use an ink pen, and how that affected me. And I came to realize, I think that, you know, lots of the people we're working with, lots of our staff probably as well, who have been subject to discrimination of any sort, have a degree of trauma in their lives. And I think that's something we need to be considerate of, and we need to take account of and think about what we can do. And I think one of the ways we can do it, help with that, is again by listening, by talking, by trying to understand where other people are coming from. And I think we all have something to do on that level. I think part of doing that is then my sort of third thing is strengthening our being with other people, our sense of us as an organization, but our sense of us in whatever communities we live, and our sense of us as being people living on this planet, you know, as a whole, we can get better at.
Respect is a big strong word for me, and it's definitely a big strong word for people who have a learning disability, that whoever who supports you, or the DWP benefit agency, they need to actually start listening and respect adults or children who have a learning disability. I also think it needs to be clear out for the Disability Discrimination Act is that I might have a learning disability, but I'm still a human being. And I am not a service user. I am somebody who gets the service from the action group.
Language you should use.
The word service user, because that labels you of having a disability, and that puts you down.
Mm-hmm.
It puts your mental health right down to the bottom line. So everything, it's just getting to my head thinking, Lynn, you are who you are. Nobody can change you. You are the person who you are today. You need to just stay right. Okay, I can't do a lot of things, but I can do the majority. I think the action group could benefit for doing talking match training I think it's a good way for staff to get the training, because then they'll be able to help the people that we support get their voices out to what they're happy with and what they're not happy with. And we're now hoping, or we're trying to see if we can use it for reviews. But a lot of people don't like to talk about things in the reviews. I'm just so glad that the Health and Social Care kept our support through the pandemic.
Yeah.
I am 100% so glad that the Health and Social Care said, no, we keep the support going for vulnerable people and people that really need support. I'm so glad at that. Because if I didn't have any support, I'm sorry to say I would have ended up in the Royal Aid. I want to say a big huge thank you to Danny and Linda for making sure that the Health and Social Care made sure that we were still receiving our support through this pandemic. It has been totally and utterly amazing, because we managed to still get support and still be able to do our everyday tasks. So thanks again. I want the organisation to keep up the good work that what they're doing just now, because they've been absolutely splendid. I've not got a bad word I can say about the action group. They've been absolutely fantastic through COVID-19. So just keep up the good work. But also, for me personally, I would like to see that I'm going to keep being more positive about my health and well-being. If I've got dyspraxia, if I'm deaf, and I've got mental health, so what? Listen to what we've got to say.